Hi guys, so I've just picked up the Audi Q3. So well, there's only one spec currently in Malaysia. This is powered by the 1.4 TSI engine, making 150 horsepower, 250 Newton meters of torque. Drive goes to the front wheels, 6-speed dual clutch transmission. 260,000, which is not cheap. Okay, certainly if you were to compare this with the X1 and the XC40, the Q3 here is severely disadvantaged in terms of pricing because it is fully imported. The infotainment system here is Android Auto enabled, and believe it or not, this is actually my first time successfully connecting my phone to an Android Auto. So milestone achieved right there. Okay, right. So that was just the sound of my WhatsApp notification being broadcast over the car's audio. Well, the 1.4 TFSI engine is well, it provides respectable performance. It didn't feel like it was a struggle. And let me just fiddle. So you get Google. So through Android Auto, you have Google Maps. Okay, that was once again my my WhatsApp notification. Now, because of a global tie-up between Audi and Google, even if you do not use your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, the navigation system in the Q3 here is powered by Google Maps, and that means for the first 3 years of usage, your sat nav will always be up to date. All right, so you don't have to worry about updating your maps because the map that comes with the car is automatically updated. Now, but that of course comes with a cost, because to keep your Google Maps up to date, you need to have data, and this car, the Q3 here, does come with its own built-in, well, an eSIM inside there somewhere, so it has its own data, but
Tracy says, camera photo Mr. Con, attached files for quotation your insurance. Do you want to reply?
No, thank you. So
okay.
That was Android Auto reading out my WhatsApp message. Now, yeah. So coming back, right? So if you don't use your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, you will still have access to a fully up-to-date sat nav, okay, because this car has its own data, and with the purchase price of the car, it comes with 3 years of data connection, so you don't have to worry about data for the next 3 years. Then at the end of 3 years, you can if you want to renew it, you can go back to your Audi dealer and ask to renew the data. But honestly, I don't think that is necessary because you already have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. You just use the Google Maps or Waze of your phone. It's so much more convenient. Now, in today's market, right, 150 horsepower really isn't that much to go by. All right, I mean, if you look at the segment right now, the Mercedes GLA is undergoing a full model change, so we will have to wait for when the new model arrives to see what outputs that Mercedes will bring in. XC40 is a full 100 horsepower more than this. The BMW X1 You have the 190 horsepower 20i, but you also have the 140 horsepower 18i with the 1.5 3-cylinder engine. So so the Q3 here, on a performance standpoint, is has a slight advantage over the base X1, but at the same time, the Q3 here is more expensive than even the more powerful 190 horsepower X1 20i. So yeah, so for its price point, well, it does face a slight performance disadvantage, except unless you compare it with the Lexus US. Now that one, that is where the Q3 here, that's perhaps the one model which the Q3 here, well, it commands an on-paper advantage. Now you see right now I'm going on to LDP, merging into traffic, and well, the acceleration provided by this engine is sufficient. All right, it's sufficient to if you are willing to work it hard enough, to pull you ahead of average traffic speed. All right, means that you have the necessary strength in reserve to keep up with traffic, with normal traffic if needed. And of course, this 1.4 liter TFSI engine is it's a proven performer from the Volkswagen Group. All right, and not only does it give you good performance, it also gives you good fuel efficiency. And on the dynamics front, ride quality thus far is very pleasant. All right, slight hint of firmness, but it is in most terms acceptably comfortable. So in the context of urban driving, it's not the fastest nor the most powerful SUV around, but it offers enough for you to get by, and it rides comfortably, and the dynamics are adequately sharp that the overall driving experience can be considered as generally pleasant. Okay guys, so let's go on the walk around of the Q3, and this is the key fob, and I have to say I was surprised to receive this. This feels and looks more like a Volkswagen Group key fob from the early 2010s, 2011, 2012. Even has the jackknife key here, but rest assured, this car does come with keyless entry. Okay, so you have got keyless entry on the front passenger door. Rear doors don't have, but it's fine, because as long as you have keyless entry on both sides, it's okay. All right, I mean, what's the worst? We are coming to, if let's say you have the key fob in your pocket, you just come, you come to the back, you want to enter the back door, all you have to do is just unlock from the front, and it is still okay. So let me just let's just walk through the design of this Q3. Now, first impressions as I saw this Q3, it definitely looks like a more grown up, I would say even a more upmarket update compared to the predecessor model. The difference between this and the predecessor, I would put it down, is this: the predecessor looks really like an entry-level Audi. It looks like someone who can't, it looks like it belongs to someone who can't afford a Q5. But this one, they've elevated the design a bit better. So now this looks more like someone who doesn't want something as big as a Q5. Yeah, so there's that little distinction there. Now, this is the front end, and obviously it doesn't have the clean look. It's a bit, I mean, if you compare it with the 2010 Walter De Silva era designs, right, this one doesn't have quite so the clean look about it, even though it has the familiar elements, the trapezoidal grille. Okay, the grille frame is rather thick, okay, and the headlights are also a rather elaborate design. This doesn't get the full spec matrix type LED headlights, but you still get LEDs and you still get an illumination signature here. Okay, so this, you see this motif here, okay, is very commonly repeated, and you can see here it is also in this trim as well. It's not a fully decorative vent. There is a functional vent here. All right, and you can see the grille, the large single piece grille. Now you see here's how the grille visually occupies this whole area, but the effective ventilation is only here. The rest of this is all covered. There's also a slight opening here, but yeah, but the air goes in effectively only here as well as down here as well. Now this panel here is covered, okay. Now unfortunately I can't tell you that this car has AEB. It doesn't, but what Audi has done here is that they have just created a single sort of like plastic mold, so that regardless whether your car has AEB, they design it with this piece here. Now we come back to the design of this car. So we move from the front to the back. Now you can see the side profile of this car. It has more deep cut lines along the side here. So you can see this one line here that runs from the edge of the tail of the headlight all the way back, all the way it runs around here, and then it goes up like that. So it sort of like runs the full the full round around the body. But here you can see this, they have this another line here, another cut here that sort of like gives the whole metalwork a bit more tone. And these two lines here, these are the two lines that really draw your attention. All right, to me, this line here to me is a visual landmark. And you can see this one also, it comes up here. All right, very nice. It's a very nice treatment. So basically, right, it's like this whole piece, okay, it's this whole thing, it's like one line, okay, that thins into here, and then it expands like that. Okay, very clever. And if with the right kind of lighting and angle, that would be the trademark line of this car. Okay, so you can see the lower side of the car is run with all the satin, the gloss black trim. All right, so it gives you sort of like a sort of rugged yet upmarket rugged kind of appearance. Now these wheels, these 18-inch alloy wheels, they don't look particularly big, and I can already foresee some less than complimentary comments. You know, that these wheels look undersized, look too simple, too plain. Well, that's true, but I would always say that wheels, okay, if I were if I were to choose for car makers, right, to underspec any one item in the car, they can always go with the wheels. You know why? Because if you don't like these wheels, you can go and upgrade them. Because wheels are the easiest thing to upgrade. You don't like it, you can just go to a tire shop and buy new wheels. That's it, done. All right. So you come to the back here, you can see the undercladding here, right, also has this texture here. All right, and you see this surface here, it comes like it goes like this, right, and it actually continues here. Okay, it flares out here. All right, a very nice continuity. and you can see the back here. There's also the now standard diffuser treatment and the trapezoidal exhaust vents. Very nice. Okay, the tail lights also get a more elaborate look, and once again you see this angled pattern here, give it a real distinctive look. So I would say the Q3 really, it looks best from perhaps this rear 3/4 angle. Okay, now so this orange is also a very eye-catching orange, all right, and it suits the personality of the car. It gives the car a more cheerful, a bright, bubbly kind of personality. Certainly one that suits young people at heart. Okay, and it makes the Q3 not only a competitor to the X1 from a practical standpoint, but from a stylistic standpoint, it presents itself as a credible alternative to the XC40 and and even the Mini Countryman. Because you look at it in this segment, right? Once again, the GLA is for the moment out of the picture because it is in between model generations. The X1 is not exactly what you would call a pretty car. So from a design standpoint, you're really down to the XC40 and perhaps the Mini Countryman. Lexus UX, a bit too busy for my liking. Okay, so we open the boot first. So you see here there's a reverse camera. The boot has powered opening, and in typical Volkswagen Group Audi fashion, so you see here there's a compartment here and a 12-volt socket. You have this nets here which you can hook there. All right, this one you can lift up, and you can see from here it has split level. Okay, you can adjust the level of the boot floor. Okay, so you can lower it to give yourself a bit more loading room. And what I like is that when you lower it, there's this slope up here, all right, that serves this one purpose. So when you come to the back door, you pull this down. When you bring this down, okay, good. So when you fold the seat down, there's a mechanism that actually locks it in place. So this slope here gives, even though it's different level, it gives a smooth transition between the seat and the floor. So of course when you raise it, it becomes a more seamless floor. Let me just bring it down this side as well. All right, so not perfectly flat, but seamless enough that you can load big items and they won't rock about. So to release this, what you need to do is to pull, all right, and the seat goes back up. Pull, release the lock, the seat goes back up, and when you get in, you need to pull this to get this back to a proper lean angle. So let me just repeat it with this side. Okay, all right, so you can see from here the seats do allow for lean adjustment. Let me just close the door. Now here, this door card, you can see this is angled this way, so you can put a 1.5 liter water bottle here, and this inside here, this bin is deep, but it's all hard plastic. Okay, this whole piece is hard plastic. This is softer touch. This is softer touch. This is leather. This satin chrome inside here, this line here, this is for ambient lighting. And the door handle is unique. Usually door handles go this way, right? This one comes from up down, so it hinges like that. And this piece, this trim piece, it's visually, okay, it is the sort of like it attracts attention, and it sort of reminds me of holding a ray gun, to be frank. All right, but I'm not quite sure really what to make of it. Certainly it's not nice per se, but you can see that it's not, they obviously, because this is a Q3 instead of a Q7 or Q5, they didn't opt for the most outlandish construction available to them. They didn't bother to close this line. They didn't bother to close this line to create one seamless appearance. All right. So this door card here, hard plastic, softer touch plastic. Okay, but inside here, there's no carpet lining, nothing. Okay, typical of this lower end segment. If you were in a Q5, Q7, maybe there would be, you know, some lining inside here. Now, but here there's another bin here for you to drop small items. Personally, I would have preferred that they maybe carpet or line or rubber line this, because I imagine things drop here. In this hard plastic, create a lot of noise. Yep. So isofix mounts here. Okay, typically there's a cover, and yeah, so you have to pull the cover out to access the mount, but placement of the mount, no complaints. Okay, and you can see the seats allow for angle adjustment. So I'm going to come inside. Okay, first we'll bring this down. All right, we've got a pop-up cup holder, armrest angle, and I have to say that this one at this fully reclined angle, it's a nice angle. All right, I can imagine being seated here for a longish period of time, and you can see from the shape of the seat. Okay, this really is designed primarily to seat 4 people at a go. Of course, seat belts are still provided for the middle passengers if needed, and it is integrated into the seat back. So when you fold the seats down, this seat belt just comes down with it in a neat fashion, so you don't have to worry about, you know, having the seat belt coming from the roof and then you have to pull it down to one buckle here and buckle the other side. No, it's integrated into the seat back, which to me, this is my my preferred kind of solution. All right. Yeah, so you can see here, right, the way this part projects out, they obviously designed this to give better thigh support. All right, and to maximize this this area is best optimized for 2 rear seated passengers. It can carry 3, but you are really better off with 2 if you are going for a long journey. All right, you get rear blowers, no dedicated climate control, but that's fine. Once again, this area is hard plastic. There's a net pocket here and here. All right, and but yeah, overall good lean angle, good thigh support, decent leg room. Okay, I would say that if you compare this, well, one comparator that immediately comes in mind would be the Volvo XC40. The XC40 is one of the common complaints of the XC40 is that the rear seat is a bit too upright and the seat bench is a bit too short, because they designed that with small kids in mind. Okay, so this one here definitely better suited for adults. So we come to the front, and it is interesting that that I just came back from the Arteon and the Tiguan R-Line media drive yesterday, because this is instantly familiar. It may be different fonts, but it is the base. You can see straight away that the underlying software beneath, it's the same architecture, it's the same software UI, operating system, the same OS as you get in the that we saw yesterday from the Tiguan. All right, so you can press this view button, you can shrink the dials, or you can maximize the screen, and of course this left right here allows you to cycle between the various modes. This rotary knob here allows you to, this dial here allows you to browse, and so here you can see this is Android Auto and Apple CarPlay enabled. So and I have to say that the base, once again, the basic browsing, you know, menu layers is immediately familiar coming from the Tiguan yesterday, but the graphics here do look a step up from the Volkswagen, as it should be. All right, and I would say it's crisp. So you have Audi Drive Select here, but if you look at the individual setting, you can see that you can only adjust the engine and the steering, because this car does not come with adjustable suspension. You can also access the Drive Select from this shortcut button here, traction control off. So I rather like this this panel here, and this it feels the installation here, because it's anchored against two sides here, it doesn't sort of like float out, right? It's solid. You see, unlike with the new Mercedes A-Class cabin, it also has a similar panel of switches here. That one rocks about a bit. This one is far more solid. Okay, so now here there's a storage tray. Now for some reason, the way this tray is designed, it's as if it was designed to perhaps maybe I can see that the initial design concept probably included a lid, but it's taken out presumably due to cost, but also it's a good thing, because you imagine this trim material, all right, on a lid here in an entire surface like this on a hot sunny day, that would be really glaring. Okay, but and I like that this space is big enough for a phone, so there's no wireless charging here in this car. All right, this gear knob is just a stubby appearance to it. Okay, and here this switches, there is that familiar sense of solidness with the Audi, you know, Audi switch gear. Very nice. Now but you also, and the overall construction quality of this cabin really it feels solid, and there's one nice touch. So you can see, so you see here, typically in most Continental cars, this is where you will find the light, you know, dial, but they don't have a dial here. Why? Because they just replace it with a switch. So let me just show you this. Okay, when I put my finger here, the auto word glows. All right, and here's the best part. When I touch this, I'm not pressing, I just touch, right? The instrument cluster there flashes up a menu. Okay, that when you press this, you can switch on the headlights, the small lights, or switch them off. Okay, so you can see, right, the instrument cluster there. I put my finger here, and that extra menu has appeared on the instrument cluster. So now I switched the lights to auto. Now it's full headlight, small light, and off. Okay, there's this button here to activate the rear fogs, and this activates the front, well, bad weather driving mode. Okay, yeah. So down here alongside here, there's this tray that I mentioned earlier, a cup holder here. Once again, surprise, there's no lid. Okay, but you can, but now looking at this slot here, I believe there's a partition here that that's been removed from this car, but that's okay. With the partition now, I can use this area to store my keys. There's another slot here, presumably for you to put your key fob, and I'm surprised that you can still find a cigarette lighter in the car these days. So inside here, this box, no surprises inside there. It's just a box, but the bottom is rubberized, so you can put things there without having to worry of them sliding about. Okay, so there's the glove box, and inside here is carpeted, right? SD card, SIM card, and yeah. So overall, the overall design of this dash, there's a more driver centric feel to this, almost like a BMW, right, where this panel is angled towards the driver. All right, and overall the construction is solid, the use of materials are tasteful, and I can't help but see that, you know, if there's a car with Quattro, this is like a fill in the blanks, right? this car does not have quattro. Okay, yeah. So yeah, overall here, this is the Audi Q3. Okay guys, so here you have it. This is the Q3 in isolation. It's a decent car, drives well, handles well, comfortable. Equipment wise, far from class leading, but it comes with enough stuff to make your day-to-day living with this car pleasant. I think the plus point of this car really is the frugal 1.4 liter powertrain, yet at the same time it is it performs decently well. It's decently energetic. Of course, because it's a compact size, it is a very easy car for you to maneuver your way through tight urban spaces, and at the same time you've got a comfortable ride, you've got good handling, and yeah, good driving characteristics. So the only problem with this car really is the price versus specs argument, because once you look at this, when you put the spec sheet of this next to the X1, next to the XC40, these two locally assembled alternatives that bring out, you know, all this EEV incentive benefits and all that, right? That is where the Q3 will struggle a bit to justify itself. So all I can say is that yes, this is, if you were to look at it as a logical, you know, in a logical sense, right, you can't get past the XC40 or even the X1 both as better value purchases. But this car has its benefits, but yeah, man, against the competition, it has difficulty answering certain questions.